So, last time, I walked out of my job, took my tools with me, I blew up a bridge, and I ended up on a cliffhanger about what comes next. Dramatic. But this video, slightly less dramatic. This video is mostly about February, and February was not dramatic. February was just grey and wet. Very, very wet. It rained almost every single day, which, if you're planning some big dramatic reset of your life, Lincolnshire in February is not a backdrop that you have in mind. But there we go. Because here's the thing that nobody tells you about time off. The first few days, proper weird. After all, it's not a holiday. You're not rushing, no one's chasing you. You're not clock watching, no job stacking up, no quick one before you go home. And part of you's thinking, right, what am I supposed to do now then? You wake up and there's nothing waiting for you. And at first, it's brilliant. I got a few things done around the house. Then your brain kicks in like it's still on shift. You're thinking about your ex-workmates. Who's doing my work now? I'm still waking up at 3 in the morning, but I'm not worrying about anything. And it takes a while, but slowly, it all starts to fade away. And that's when it gets interesting, because you start noticing things like how quiet it is when your head's not full of other people's problems, how much of your day was never actually yours, how much energy you were pouring into stuff that you don't even care about. And the worst bit, it just feels normal. For years it felt normal. And after I left, I knew it wouldn't be a clean exit, not in the manner that I left. There was a bit of tension in the place, like something had been unsettled. I was being briefed daily, I knew what was going on. And I think that when you step away from a place like that, it's not just you that it affects. It exposes things, gaps, pressure, problems that were already there, problems that are easier to ignore when everything's just ticking over. And once that balance shifts, someone ends up carrying it. And sometimes, when you step away, it's not the leaving that causes the problem, it's what your absence reveals. Now, I wasn't completely idle during February. I did a few days here and there at some local garages, nothing full on, just enough to keep my hand in and keep the grey matter ticking over. Because there's a difference between stepping away from something that's breaking you and losing the thing that you're actually good at. And I'm good at this job, I know I am. 40 odd years of experience doesn't just evaporate because I've had a bad run. So the odd day here and there was fine, and it was good actually. Decent people, relaxed, no nonsense, reminding me what the job's supposed to feel like. But it also made something else very clear when looking at local jobs, because I did look, and look, there are jobs out there, plenty of them, but every single one of them, I already knew what it'd be like before I even read to the end of the advert. Same dealership setup, same targets, same bullshit incentives, same management structure, same politics, same Sunday night dread, just with a different postcode. I'd be jumping out of the frying pan, straight into another frying pan with a different brand on it. And the independent garages around here, there are very few I'd even consider approaching. Not because I'm being precious about it, it's just I've worked a certain way for a long time, a certain standard, a certain pace, a certain level of work, and that changes you. You can't unknow what you already know. And you can't pretend standards don't matter when you've spent decades caring about them. So the idea of rocking up somewhere, working on a 15-year-old car that someone's probably previously repaired with a £3 socket set from Lidl and calling it a career move? Nah, not for me. And here's the bit I've been sitting with, the honest bit. I don't think I actually want to go back into the garage trade. There, I've said it. I've had enough of the job. Not because I can't do it, I can do the job half asleep, and I probably have to be fair, but because I know what it costs. I know what it costs physically, I know what it costs mentally, and I know what it does to your sleep and your energy and your life. And once you know that, once you've had enough distance to actually feel the difference, going back feels more like a choice than it is a default. And that's a strange place to be, because for most of my working life, that's just what I did. It wasn't a choice, it was just life. But then comes a reality bit, because I'm not 22 anymore. I'm not starting out fresh with nothing to lose and nowhere to be. I've got a life built around a certain income. I've got commitments and I've got plans for the future. I'm saving hard. But if I want to move into something completely different, something that doesn't wreck my body and drain my soul, what exactly pays the same as a fully skilled motor vehicle technician with decades of experience? And the honest answer is, not much. Not without starting from the bottom again, not without retraining, and not without a period of earning less whilst everything else is going up in price. It's not impossible, but it's not straightforward either. And I think this is where a lot of people get stuck. Not because they don't want change, but because the gap between where you are and where you want to be costs something. And that's usually time, money, comfort and security. So for now, I'm doing what any reasonable, experienced, slightly stubborn man in his 50s would do. I'm looking for the unicorn job. You know the one. Good pay, decent hours, interesting work, no nonsense management, colleagues that aren't miserable, a role that uses what I know without destroying what's left of my knees. It exists probably, I'm sure it does, but I've not found it yet. But I'm looking, guys, I really am looking. A man's allowed to be optimistic, surely, and I'm tired of being pessimistic, because the alternative is just grabbing whatever's out there and ending right back where I started, and I'm not doing that again. So, that was my February. 1 more month off unpaid. Technically, I was unemployed. I didn't go to Wetherspoons at all to socialise with Benefits Britain. It rained almost every day. I did a few days at local garages. I looked at jobs I didn't want. I ate too many biscuits, and I thought a lot. Not fixed, not finished, just finally paying attention. And something did shift, not dramatically, not that big bright light bulb moment, just a quiet realisation that my time is mine again. And that feels different, even if I haven't worked out what I'm going to do with it yet. But here's the thing, whilst I've been figuring out everything, there's an idea that's been quietly forming in my head. Something that uses what I know, but not in the way I've always used it. Yeah, it's still in the motor trade, but it's something that could actually work for me. Or it could go completely sideways. I'm 54, it could go either way. But I think I'm mad enough to give it a try. See you in the next one.